Okay, Igor, and you are Brastisol vice president.
Vice President, yeah.
What are your roles as vice president? What do you have to do, and how important it is for teachers to be members of teachers associations?
Okay, I'll try not to speak for like 25 minutes for that
I'll
question.
control
But,
you.
well, my roles basically are to assist the president and all the rest of the board in planning events and inviting speakers and helping the members get the best out of Brastiso. But the importance, I think that the most important part of the question is why I think it's important for people to be members of Brastiso or teachers associations in general.
Mhm.
Um, we are such a big community of such talented professionals, and Brastiso and IATEFO and TISO, there are opportunities for us to exchange ideas, practices, get together every now and then in conferences and events and learn about what each other's doing and learn from each other. So honestly, I think every teacher of English should be a member of not only Brastiso, but a teachers association, so that we have people to, discuss ideas with, discuss techniques with, learn from, and especially for private teachers, for freelance teachers who
Mhm.
don't have that teachers room environment
Yeah,
anymore.
staff room,
uh,
right?
So Brastiso is our big
It's a
teachers
huge,
room.
yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah.
think, that's what I miss the most. I mean, not being in schools anymore is this daily contact with fellow teachers. That's what Brastiso brings me. Yeah.
Lovely. And so let's talk about the overwhelm of teachers in general. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd say especially with private teachers, freelance teachers, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
as you've mentioned before, they don't usually have any kind of support, right? A manager or a fellow teacher to talk to. So, in as a freelance teacher yourself, Igor, how do you think teachers can cope with all this overwhelm and being alone? Um,
It is. It's very hard. I know, as a freelance teacher myself. The solution I found for me was working on Skype. Yeah,
right.
because commuting in a city like Sao Paulo is insane,
It
as is
is,
in
yeah. That's yeah, the same problem
So I
here.
think for us to have a life as well, I think this is very important. We have to find a way to have social life, to have a life as well on the side. And the only way we're going to do that is if we're not wasting really 6, 7, 10 hours of our day. Okay, 10 might be too much, but 6 hours of our day uh, going from point A to point B, then to point C. And so I think either working in a smaller area, in a smaller region, and trying
Mm-hmm.
to concentrate students in an area if possible, or to work with companies if possible, so that you can spend most of your time in one place or one region, or to do a lot of your work online. Yeah, I think many people say that teaching online is the future. I don't think it's the future. I think it's the
It's the
present, and it has
present.
been for quite a while. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the work the freelancers do should be, or could be at least, online. I think it's one way to deal with burnout, with all the overwhelming amount of work that we have to do, because it's tough. I know it's
It
complicated.
is, yeah. Um, okay, can you tell us some of your favorite teaching books? If you were to give some advice for,
You mean
uh, sorry,
course books? You mean?
whichever book, methodology books,
Okay.
teaching books in general.
Well,
Which books would you suggest?
right. Well, methodology books that I love. I mean, they were vital for me when I was starting, and still are very important. Are The Practice of English Language Teaching by Jeremy Hart,
Mm-hmm.
Learning Teaching by Scrivener. I think, as I said before, we all need to know more about phonology, about
Right,
pronunciation,
yeah.
and Sound Foundations is an
Sound
absolute
Foundation, yeah.
fantastic book for that. My favorite course books at the moment certainly are English File, the whole English File series. I love it. And I really, really, really like the new series of books by Richmond, English ID, and also the advanced series that's called Identity. So I think it is excellent. It was written, it is more focused on Brazilians and South American students. And so I think these are two excellent series as well. So I'd say English File, English ID, and Identities.
Okay, lovely, thank you. And my last question, Higor, is what's your teaching pet peeve? Do you have any?
You mean in my own teaching or
in the teaching environment, let's say, yeah.
Right. I think at the moment we've had, well, actually this has existed for a long time, but I think at the moment we've been talking a lot, we've been actually hearing a lot about learn English in 3 weeks, in 2 hours, in 15 minutes, between now and 7 p.m.
Yeah, while we're sleeping, right?
Yes, exactly. This is profoundly annoying. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much that annoys me. That makes me furious, really. I mean, that there are people who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, promising crazy stuff like this, and basically deceiving students and learners and everything. So I think that this is something that we collectively have to fight. Because you cannot say how long it takes for people to go from zero to hero. That depends on so many variables, on so many things. That, I mean, anyone who says that is lying. 3 months, 2 months, 6 months. That's ridiculous, and we have to fight it. So that, as you can see, that's annoying.
It's really annoying, yeah.
It is. Yeah,
okay.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, Higor, thank you so much for this lovely interview.
Thank you.
Such a
great
pleasure.
Company. I've watched all the other interviews you did, and it's a privilege. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.